We are now joined by the 57th governor of the state of Missouri. Governor Mike Parson is joining us live from Jefferson City. Good morning to you, Governor. Thanks for waking up with us this early.
Good morning.
Hey, I noticed you have your Chief lapel pin on. You're a longtime Chief season ticket holder, and you were at the big game. How great was it to be down in Miami for that?
Oh, it was totally awesome. I can tell you that's the first time I ever got to see a Super Bowl. Matter of fact, 20 years ago, I used to kind of joke around with my buddies saying, hey, I'm going to go to the Super Bowl when the Chiefs are in it. So lo and behold, it finally happened. So it was great. And to go there as governor was just a double treat to it. So it was good.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of governors and your role as a governor, you guys spent some time in Washington, D.C. earlier this week for the governor's meeting. What did you learn from that meeting, and were you able to talk to the president about anything?
You know, it really was some good meetings we had out there. We talked about the river, the management of that river, which is very important to us. We met with governors from Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas, and actually brought the Dakotas in. And a little bit of a unique opportunity happened, but we had an opportunity to talk to the president about that directly. And he committed to us that he would get engaged in that process and understood that the problems we were having and was willing to take another meeting with us to discuss that. But I think there's a tremendous push right now on the state levels and hopefully with the federal delegation to really push what's happening here down the Missouri River, and that we got to change the management of it. So I was very encouraged by that. I thought that was some great meetings that we had out there. So that was one of the most significant ones that we had out there.
And of course, the legislative session underway right now in Jefferson City, as we see the dome behind you there. What bills are you tracking, and what are some of the major measures that you're focusing on this session?
You know, I think one thing from what we did last year, I think we all know with workforce development, with the infrastructure pieces we put in place, have been very successful. And we currently have 42,000 people in Missouri that are now in training programs, which is very unique, where we're like second in the nation for apprenticeship programs. And I think just really staying focused on that, focus on the reorg of government. But we know these things are working right now. We know that incomes are starting to go up, which basically means more people's got more money in their pocket. And more importantly, more people are going back to work. And with those unemployment numbers going down, and just such a positive thing that's going on for everyday people, pocket issues, I want to say, I think we just got to keep on focus, make sure that we keep pushing that forward, because right now it's pretty successful and we want to keep building on that success.
One measure that's moving through the House and the Senate is a measure that would institute online sales tax, or at least gather it here in Missouri. Is that something that you would sign if it got to your desk?
Well, you know, most certainly. I think we should be collecting Wayfair. You know, I think the big argument is how you spend the money. But what I've asked the legislators to do right now, at least start collecting it. If nothing else, put it in a savings account, put it in an account somewhere until we figure out how to spend it. But, you know, this is more of a fairness issue for our businesses here in the state of Missouri. And we're one of the last states to do this, but we're just passing up, you know, probably $100 million by just not doing this. And we need to really get engaged in this. At least put it in the bank, save it to where we can figure out how we're going to use it. You know, our theory was to pay down the debt of the state, try to pay the debt down, invest in infrastructure, and put in really a savings account for rainy day funds for the flooding situation we had last year, so we're a little more prepared for that.
And Governor, before we let you go, I know Democrats have been pushing this issue for a while, and there's been a lot of talk and maybe even an initiative petition that's circulating that would expand Medicaid in Missouri. But that's not something that you support. Why is that?
You know, one of the things is we got a system in place right now that's 1/3 of the state budget, and that efficient's not a good system whatsoever. First of all, we got to get it efficient to know what we're doing, because in the real world, you would never go down on an agency that's not efficient. And we've got to fix some of the things that are going on there. And people around the state really need to understand what that means if we do pass that at the ballot. So I think my main job is going to be to go out there and say, okay, whatever you decide to do, however you decide to vote, you need to know the facts on both sides and what the real facts are, what the real data are to what we're going to do. We currently have 1 out of every 6 individuals that's on the Medicaid system right now in the state of Missouri, 1 out of every 6. So 1 million out of 6 million people are already on Medicaid. If you expand that program, I don't think there's any doubt that it's just going to cost more money. There's no way to save money when you expand government. And those are the things I think people need to understand, and then make that decision whether they want to do that and whether they want to give up something else for that.
Well, Governor Mike Parson, we really appreciate you spending time with us this morning, and go Chiefs.